Hi everyone, this is a new Tools for Dummies Live, and today we're going to tell you everything about making a standard document in Microsoft Word based on the ICM Standard. This is how it's done, or in Dutch, Zo moet het. And it's a document that you're going to use throughout the entire study. And yeah, well, what more can we tell about it?
Yeah, so you're going to need it the coming 4 years, so keep it in a safe place. And it's really handy because every time you need to make a new document for the project or for skills, you can just use this standard document. So let's start.
Okay, first I'm going to show you how the document looks like that we're going to use. Well, for the Dutch classes we have a Dutch version of this. But the layout is essentially the same, because every project document that you're going to make has the same parts like this document. And, well, what are the parts? First you have this cover, and then after the cover comes the title page. Then you have a foreword, a table of contents, and then after the table of contents comes the introduction, and that's also where the page numbering is starting. And then you will have all of your chapters and paragraphs, including an automatic numbering. And then if we scroll all the way down up to the end of the document, you will find, of course, the appendices, bijlagen in Dutch, bibliography, and is there anything else? Well, maybe something like a conclusion.
So now that we showed you how the document looks like, we're going to start with the first thing, and that are heading styles. So we're using heading styles to, we need heading styles to create our automatic table of contents. So it's really important. Let's show it to you guys. So I already made a list of what you need to have in your document. So that's a cover page, a title page, a summary, a foreword, table of contents, introduction, chapter, paragraphs, subparagraphs, conclusion, bibliography, and appendices. So I'm going to make the heading styles for your chapters. Heading style 2 is for your paragraph, and heading style 3 is for your subparagraphs. So if you are in your normal layout of Word, you can go to Home, and you can already see your different kind of heading styles. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to modify them first, so they have a different kind of design. So heading 1 is for your chapters, so I'm going to right click on heading 1, and I'm going to click on modify. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a different font, so I'm going to go for Helvetica, bold. So 16 is alright for the size of your chapters. And I'm going to give it a different color. I'm going to give it orange, bright orange. So bold, this is okay. So we've created our own heading style for your chapters. Then I'm going to create heading style 2 for my paragraphs. So right click, click on modify. And again, I'm going to choose a different font. I'm going to choose Helvetica, but now I'm going to go for a different kind of version. And I'm going to make it a little smaller, maybe a font. And I'm going to make it just black. Click on OK. So now you can select your chapter and you can click on heading 1. And if you click on it, you can see it automatically changed the style. You're going to do the same for paragraph. And as you can see, a Word Standard has heading 1 and heading 2, but now heading 3 is appearing as well. So we can modify heading 3 for your subparagraphs. So right click, click on modify, and we're just going to choose Helvetica regular. And we can make it a little smaller as well. And I'm going to choose solid black. And select subparagraph. And then we're going to click on heading 3. So what we're missing is the automatic numbering. So I'm going to add that as well for your headings. So select your heading 1, your chapter. Then we're going to go to the multi-level list in here. And we're going to select the one where you can find the heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 in there. So this one, just click on it once. And you will see you have automatic numbering for your chapters, for your paragraphs, and for your subparagraphs. Okay, so now you know how to apply those heading styles. We're now up to the most important, almost the most important thing for the structure for your document, the so-called section breaks.
Yeah, and a section is a part of your document in which you can apply a different layout to your document, and we need to use that. Take a look at this overview of our standard document, and then you can see that we have 4 sections that we're going to work with. So in section 1, you will have everything from the cover up to the table of contents. And what we need to do there is not using heading styles and not using page numbering, because the page numbering only needs to appear from section 2 onwards. So from the page with the introduction, and on the pages with the chapters and the paragraphs, and then at the end, in the conclusion, the bibliography and the appendices. But there's something else is also different, because in section 2, the introduction is not a chapter, because in section 3 we all have the chapters, so chapter 1, chapter 2, and the paragraphs, and only the chapters have the automatic numbering. So we need to switch that off in section 2 where we have the introduction. We also need to switch the automatic numbering off in section 4 where we have the conclusion, the bibliography and the appendices, because those aren't chapters either. So only in section 3 do we need to turn on the automatic chapter and paragraph numbering. And from section 2 onwards, we need to have the automatic page numbering on, because everything from section 2 up to section 4 will be added to the table of contents.
Yes, it sounds a little bit complicated, but once we're going to build up the document, it's going to be more clear for you guys. So let's start with building up the actual document with section breaks.
And here we have the list with all the parts that we need to add to the document. So starting from the cover page, if you have the image before you, then you could see that everything from the cover page up to the table of contents must be in section 1. So put your cursor behind the table of contents, go to Layout, click on Breaks, and then on this button, Section Break, Next Page. And then you will see that everything below the table of contents will jump to a different page. And we can check if we have 2 sections right now by clicking into either the footer or the header of the page. So double click in it, and then you can already see we have a section 1 and a section 2. What we need to do now is make different pages for the title, the summary, the foreword, and the table of contents. We can do that by either clicking on Layout, Breaks, and then using the page break, or you can do it by using Command plus Enter, or on a Windows computer, Control and Enter, because that also adds a new page break. So stand behind the cover page and press Command Enter, and then everything will jump to the next page. Stand behind the title page and press Command Enter, and also do it for the summary, the forward, and well, the table of contents already has its own page right now. To check if you have placed the breaks in the right way, you can go back to Home, and then click on this little button, the mirrored P, and then you can hide the formatting marks. What it does is show you everything that's going on behind the scenes. And you can already see that we have applied a page break over here and a section break after the table of contents. This is also the way to, well, recover from a mistake that you made. Because if you've placed a section break too much, or you did anything, there's anything else that you did wrong, then you can just stand behind the section break over here, or before it, and then press delete, or function backspace on your Mac, and then you can delete the section break that you've placed. For now, we can hide the formatting marks again and make new section breaks after the introduction. So go stand behind the introduction. Again, click on Layout, Breaks, and Section Break, next page. And the last break we need to make is after the chapters, because we need to have 4 sections in total. So go stand behind the subparagraph, and again, click on Break, Section Break, next page. Sometimes you see something weird happen, like an automatic added new empty paragraph, but you can just see what's going on by clicking on the formatting marks again, and then you will see that okay, the section break was put behind the subparagraph. That's okay, but we can just delete this one then. There, and then we can also make sure that the conclusion is at the top of the page. So the last page breaks we need to add is behind the conclusion. So go stand behind conclusion and press Command Enter, and it will add a page break, and the same thing goes for the bibliography. Then anything that's added too much, you can just delete until your text is back at the top of the page again. Don't be afraid if it jumps backwards a little bit. There. Okay. And now we have set up all of the breaks. Let's check that once more. So double click into either the header or the footer. And we can see that if we scroll all the way down, this should be section 4 now. And we have done this very nicely.
Good job, Danny. Okay, so now we've created the sections, but as you can see in the overview, if I'm look it up right now, you can see that you have different kind of heading styles for every section. So in section 1, you don't use heading styles and you don't use page numbering. So we're going to modify it in the actual document as well. So I'm going to turn off the quotation marks for now. So of course for the cover page you're going to make your own design. You can also use Illustrator for that, or maybe you want to do it in Word as well, but just create a nice looking cover page. Then we're going to go to title page. So we're not going to use a heading style because we don't want the title page to appear in the table of contents. But it is nice if it looks the same as your chapter heading style. So I'm just going to make the title page bold, and I'm going to make it orange, the same as my heading style, and I'm going to make it a little bigger. Summary, I'm going to do the same, bold, orange, bigger. Forward, you can do the same. The table of contents, the same thing. But now we're arriving at section 2. And if we check the overview, you can take a look at it. Section 2, introduction, heading 1 is on, because we do want to have the introduction appear in the table of contents. And the automatic chapter numbering starts here. Sorry. The automatic chapter numbering and paragraph numbering is off because it's not a chapter, but the automatic page numbering is on again. So let's apply that as well. So, introduction is heading 1, but it's not going to be a chapter, so I'm going to remove the automatic numbering. So I'm going to click on heading 1. Then I'm going to go to my numbering, and if I click once, you turn off the automatic numbering. So this is the introduction, but it is still a heading style, so it will appear in the table of contents. So we've done that. Now we're going to add the page numbering. So because of the heading styles, you can change the structure of the page numbering as well, because in the ICM Standard, it says that you have to start with the page numbering after the table of contents, but you do count, how can you say that properly? But you do count the previous pages, so you don't start at 1, you start at the pages after your cover page.
Yeah, so the cover page is essentially page 0.
Yeah, so we don't have this page, so let's count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the page numbering is starting at 5. So the first thing we're going to do is to format the page numbering. So we're going to double click in the footer, and you will see the page numbering option appear. So click on the more options, and we're going to click on format page numbering.
It could even well be that there are the teachers who would like to have you start with number 1 at this point. I find it strange sometimes, because in magazines the previous pages are counted, but you don't see them. But it could also very well be that someone would like to have just a number 1 appearing over here, and then you can just fill it in this little box.
But for now we're following the ICM Standard, so we're going to start at 5. Okay, so then we've done that, and now we can add the page numbering. So right click again, page number. Once you can also choose to align it to the left, to the middle, or to the right. For now, the right is okay. Then you're going to click on OK. So what you see now is something really strange, because the previous page has also page 5, because Word will count the front page of the cover page as a page as well. So you can see 1. So the thing what we're going to do now, because we have sections, we can delete the previous page numbering. So go to your introduction again, or your, I'm just confused by the page numbering, yeah. So we're first going to click away link to previous, because now your sections are linked together, so we're going to unlink them so you can delete the page numbering. So click on unlink. And what you can do now is you can double click in here and you can just delete the page numbering. And you can see that now it's starting at 5, and in the previous pages you don't have page numbering. So don't forget the link to previous to unlink that, because otherwise it will delete all the page numbering. So now we have heading styles, we have section breaks, page numbering, and now we're going to add the table of contents, right?
And that's easy.
Yeah,
Table
really
of contents
easy.
is very easy.
If you did the heading styles properly.
Yeah. And go to the page with the table of contents. Let's press enter once, and then go into references. And then you already see the big button for the table of contents. Click on it. And yeah, well, you can just choose one of the styles you see over here, but we're going to use the classic one. And yeah, there's nothing special to it. It just appears over here, magically. Of course, you can now delete your text that you have made over here because it also appears over here. And the fun thing is, if we are going to add new chapters to this, so let's make a new page with a chapter. So just like we told you, after the last paragraph of the previous chapter, do a command or a control enter. Could be that I have done it once too much right now. Oh no, there's 2 page breaks right now. So that's something that you need to keep in mind. So Word does not always show what it's doing, but you can just stand behind the page break, enter a new chapter title, and then you see it just jumps to the next page. Chapter, this will be the next chapter, select it, press on heading 1, and you will see that the numbering will be automatically applied. The only thing is that it's in black and not in orange. So I hope, there. Just click on heading 1 again, and then you will see it will apply the heading style. Then it could be that a new paragraph is made over here. Let's give it a heading 2. And maybe there's some text below that. This is some text, and then you will have a new paragraph after that. Select it again, apply heading 2, and maybe within that, oh, it's deleting it. Maybe within that paragraph there is some text again, and maybe you will have a sub-paragraph. And let's apply a heading 3 on that one. Now, after you have filled up your document with a couple of chapters, you can just go back to the table of contents, click on it, and then you will find the little arrow over here, and you can click on Update Table. And then click on Update Entire Table, click on OK, and you see it will automatically add the new chapters that you've made. That's all there is to that.
Okay, this is all you need to know for your standard document following the rules of CMI Standard.
It's quite easy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite easy. When you get the hang of it, yeah, it's like nothing. You can do this like in 1 hour or something, and then you're prepared for the full 4 years.
Yeah,
nice.
and you can always, after you've done this, you can always just save that document and open it up every time you need to make a new document, so you won't have to think about how you have to do it.
Yeah. So now we still have some final tips and tricks for Word, like a caption for your picture, or what else do we have?
Well, maybe a table or a field to add a chapter title in the header, so that when you are on a different page and you don't know in which chapter you are, you can still see it at the top of the page.
Really fancy.
Okay, so let's first go to one of the chapters that we're in, and it could very well be that you're going to use, well, a picture. And where do we have a picture?
On my desktop.
Oh, is there a picture on your desktop? Well,
Yeah.
then, well, there are several ways to do it. You can go to your desktop and then drag it into Word, but you can also use the insert function, pictures, picture from file, and then go to your desktop. And then we find this beautiful dog, and let's insert it into the document. And yeah, it's very big, so we can make it smaller by just going into the corners, one of the corners, and then click and drag it so it will appear a bit smaller. And it's funny because this text already has an alt text, but it will only show up when you have this document digitally. So if you want to print out your document, then we would have to add a caption to this picture. And this is how you do it. It's very easy. Right-click on your picture, and then click on Insert Caption, and then you can make a new label or choose one of the presets. Well, this is clearly not an equation, a figure, or a table. It's an image. So let's make a new label for this. And then type in image. Do not add a number, because it will do it automatically for you. Click on OK, and you will see the caption is now image 1. Well, you can add text behind it. So add beautiful dog or something like.
Let's give it a name.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Beautiful Charlie. Is this a real? Does this dog look like a Charlie to you?
Yeah.
Okay, then we press OK, and it will show up below the picture. Now, there's a little other trick that you can do with this, because, well, it could very well be that you are on the next page, and there's some extra text in here. Oh, let me
Charlie ate my homework today.
yeah, so Charlie ate my homework today. And then if we were to see that on the picture, then we could make a reference to that picture that we just placed on the previous page. And let's do that. Let's first type C, and then you would include C image 1, but we're going to do that automatically so that you can click on it, and then the digital document will jump to the picture. Go to References and insert, let me see, where is it? Yeah, the cross-reference. So the cross-reference is over here. It could be that you will not see the entire button, because in the Windows version I have seen that you would only see this little icon. So search for that, and that will be the insert cross-reference. Click on it, and now we can choose our own made label, and it was an image, so click on that, and now you see it appearing over here. Now insert the reference to not the entire caption, because then we would see image 1 beautiful Charlie in the text. It's not how you do that. Just choose only label and number, because then you would see appear see image 1 in your text. And I will show you, because if we click on insert and then on close, you will see image 1 appearing over here. Close it, and then this part is clickable. On Mac you can just click on it, but on Windows you would have to use Control Click. And you can see that it will jump to the image on the previous page. So that's all there is to that.
Yeah, the next thing is adding tables.
Yeah, tables, because it will, well, it's possible that you will have a lot of data that you would like to.
You can transform it into a beautiful data visualization like an infographic.
Yeah, but we're not going to do that today.
No.
So let's add a table. It's under Insert. Let's make a table. You can click on it, and then you can choose how many of these cells you would like to add. Just let's make a table like this again. And you can just fill in all of your data. And then afterwards, you can also, well, add a caption to this. I think you would have to click on the little, well, arrows over here, and then right-click, and then choose Insert Caption. And then, of course, it's not an image, but it's a table. And the table is already the preset. And then you can fill in, well, anything you'd like. Table 1, beautiful table. There. And then click OK. And then you will have the caption applied to your table.
Yes, so the last thing we're going to show is using a field
Oh yeah, the
to
field.
add the chapter title in the header.
Yeah, the field is a little trick to, to show. Yeah, it's some kind of a guide to show what chapter you are in right now.
Yeah.
Because this first chapter is already taking up 2 pages. But if you are going to make your own document, then it's very well possible that you will that it will take up more pages, and then it could come in handy to see at top of the page in which chapter you are in right now. We only have to do that in the pages where the chapters are. So first thing we need to do is double click on it. And then, again, switch off same as previous, because in the introduction, you won't have to add it. So go into section 3 and unlink it from the previous section. There we go. And now you can add a field. But the thing is, on the Windows version, it works a little bit different. Because you will not see the field button. You will not see the field button, but you will see a different button first.
Yeah.
And I don't know which button that is.
We will show it in the screen somewhere. We can just, later on we will edit it in.
I forgot. Okay, we will show you on the screen. On the Mac version, click on field. Because, on the Windows version, this also works very differently from this.
Yeah,
so
it looks a little bit different, but the words and the options you have to select are the same.
Yeah, only the screen here is different.
Yeah.
So we would have to make a different capture
But
for
in
this.
the Microsoft Word, you can see the full screen, not because now you have to click on OK and then a new menu is showing.
Yeah.
But in Word in Microsoft, you can see the entire thing already.
Okay, let's come back to the Windows version in a while. Let's first make it for the Mac version. What we need to do is go to Categories on the left, and then click on Links and References, because we're going to make a reference to the
chapter names.
Yeah, the chapter names. And the chapter names we made with the styles. So the heading styles. And that's why we need to click on Style Ref over here. Then, before you click on OK, you need to click on Options.
Yeah, that's really important because like a lot of students just click on OK and then they forget this step and then it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. But we now have to go to Options and then to Styles, because we need to click on Heading 1, because Heading 1 is the chapter title. If we would click on Heading 2, then the paragraph titles would appear on the top of the page. But we want to add the chapter titles. So click on Heading 1 and then on Add to Field. So it will appear over here. And now you can confirm with OK. And then again with OK. And then it appears over here. Let's change this in the beautiful dog.
Charlie.
Dog Charlie. And then you can see that it also changes in the header. And that this title is also showing up over here. Well, after we double clicked on it, because it didn't update right away. And then in chapter 2, you can see that it uses the title of the second chapter, and so on.
Yeah,
so it's just a little trick.
It's
not
nice,
mandatory.
fancy option.
It's nice, it's fancy, but it's not mandatory. So if you think that this goes far beyond what you would like to do, or if it's too difficult, just leave it be. It's no problem at all.
Yes. That's it, Danny, for now.
Okay, well, that's it sounds nice.
Yeah. So once again, just save it keep it at a safe place, and open it once you're going to make a new a project assessment or skills assessment, because this come in really handy, and you immediately have the ICM Standard things in there, so you don't have to look it up again.
Yeah. Well, that makes the wrap for today, I think.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, and see you in the next Tools for Dummies Live.